Okay, so this is the out-of-body experience scene. We we began devising this scene around the end of January. Uh, we actually managed to get the movements done in pretty much just one rehearsal, which was ideal really, so that we could move on to the other scenes, the bigger scenes, and also polish it off over the remaining months. Pip was very much in charge of this scene, as both Sarah and I were actually quite ill that week, so the credit goes to her really for choreographing this one. However, obviously we had spoken beforehand about what kind of thing we wanted for the scene. Again, we wanted to draw on stereotypical movements. Pip asked Dan and Abby to think of stereotypical movements that would show their frustration of waiting for news about Flora. Each movement was jotted down and adapted to create a fluent sequence. This is where the nurses' actions they perform on Flora repetitively throughout the play actually comes to life through the physical movement in order to really show her deterioration throughout time. This also shows sort of how collaborative as a team we are actually, as we kind of draw on Simon McBurney's techniques. So, as you can see from the video, it was tried both ways. The one in the top left hand corner is where Flora's movements were excruciatingly slow, and Dan and Abby's movements were actually quite fast paced. However, we felt that it made the stage look too chaotic and cluttered in a way, and the quickness of their pace didn't quite match the essence of the slow suffering of waiting they were going through, so we changed it around a bit. When I was better, they showed me the scene, and I suggested that Charlotte should mix up her movements that the nurses do to her so routinely, in order to show the sort of chaos and internal struggle and suffering of staying alive that she's actually going through. Ben and Eri's painful slowness can be seen as the agonising suffering of waiting to hear bad news, and this provided a really nice contrast that we just have to have on stage. We also changed the lighting around a bit. We wanted it to go from dim to bright really slowly in order to match the pace of the scene.